Hey guys, welcome to your Twin Flame collective reading. So let's see what sort of energies the collective is dealing with. Let's see what's going on for the collective here. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. And we have the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Okay. Let's see the clarifiers before we dive in. So let's see the clarifiers for the collective. Alright. Okay. And we're gonna have the Magician on the bottom of the deck, right? Let's see the rest of the clarifiers. Okay, so the Magician, right? Okay. So, first and foremost, I am hearing a song. I think it's Chris Rea. I think it's Chris Rea. It sounds like this is the end of everything. This is the end of no, I know the part I keep hearing is this is the end of everything. Okay. So kind of in tune with that, right? We do have here a collective I'm tapping into right now. It's a collective dealing with loss, processing loss, but it is a loss which happened sometime in the past. It could be a recent past or not so recent, depending on your particular timeline, right? But it is here a process of working on the loss. So trying to learn from it, trying to grow from it, trying to expand from that particular point of losing something, disconnecting with something. And here there's an energy of multiple opportunities, multiple possibilities. It's also a kind of a turning point in the journey from which, based on the healing both of you go through as flames, you can actually activate more than one timeline. So this is actually a point of I'm not gonna call it a test, because it's not a test actually. This is the result of experiences, traumas, healing points, growth spurts. I'm hearing so you have been going through a time of going back and forth on your connection, on your journey. Each one of you kind of making some progress at your own pace, right? So this is a point where you can activate multiple opportunities for your timelines regarding your journey and regarding your blueprint in this lifetime, based on what sort of healing you have done, you are doing, and you will be doing in the recent future. Now, this is one of these timelines involves actually a union-reunion scenario, and that's particularly in cases where you were a couple, you were a relationship, you were even living in together, because I'm hearing that scenario for some of you. And there was a breakup, there was a break, there was some time apart, there was kind of a season of figuring things out, right, separately, either by moving apart or by simply being more distant towards one another. But as that phase came and is coming to an end here, this is the point of deciding where you can move forward, how you can move forward, how each of you sees that, how each of you embraces that. And this is a potential timeline where you accelerate your divine union and where you do a lot of your growing together. So in a connection. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic connection for a part of this journey. Sorry about that. So you could be connected in the sense that you are at least in touch, or that you are at the very least friends, or communicating, even if you're not actually engaged in a relationship for a segment of the journey, right? For some of you, this is a timeline of further separation. And this section of the energy feels kind of heavy to me. So some of you are leaning heavily towards the growth together, the progress made together. And there are some who are leaning towards the separation. Now this all depends on what sort of healing, what sort of healing has been going on, what sort of healing you can activate, and what sort of healing you are each willing to embark on. Because I do feel a part of this collective feels very hesitant to embark on a journey of healing, because there's this fear of reconnecting to those energies which you kind of tend to see as dormant, right? When you are not dealing with them, when you are not thinking about them, when you are not working on them. And that's perfectly understandable. That's a huge part of working on trauma, healing trauma. Part of the issue we run into is the fear of actually interacting with those feelings, with those states of mind, with those events which have hurt us so much, right? So we tend to push them down, we tend to ignore them, we tend to try to pretend as if it never happened. Whatever traumatic event happened for you as a connection and for each of you as individuals, there's more or less willingness to dive into that healing, and that's perfectly understandable. And you should never judge or in a sense look down on someone who's not prepared to embark on heavy healing, because that's an energy which you have to work your way up to. It's a very hard point of the journey. It's perhaps the hardest point of the journey, right? So it's not easy to come into that level of willingness and courage and in a sense optimism, right? Because and self-love. So you cannot truly embark on healing and activating specifically a divine union and relationship scenario here without having achieved true self-love within self, within the connection. And some of the twins I'm tapping into right now, they haven't yet achieved that precise point. There's still some work to do. And in some cases, even though it's very painful to contemplate it, and more so to admit it, or even more so to actually go with it, right? Embrace it, surrender to it. There are some points in some journeys where some twins are truly better off separate, because you can focus more on each of your healing. You can even though you feel what your twin is going through and they feel what you're going through, of course, if you're not in 3D contact, there's less of an effect when one of you suffers. The other one suffers a little bit less when you're further apart. I know that's a painful thing to contemplate, and sometimes it's very hard to understand, especially if you have made more progress with your own healing than your twin. Sometimes it's hard to perceive or conceive of the idea that sometimes your twin feels a little bit less under pressure when they are further away from you, because the spiritual higher vibes are less triggering to them, and they feel like they can work on their healing a little bit slower at their own pace, right? And I know it's difficult to process and to surrender to that, but that's part of the journey, right? This is a work which happens from within and manifests outward. It's not the opposite way, right? It's not the other way around. So let's see what sort of advice Spirit has here for the collective. Okay, so that one jumped out. Of course, find balance, right? Find balance. And on the bottom of the deck, we do have the base chakra. Okay. So this is clearly a point when, for one thing, if you do energy clearing on the base chakra, because the balance card is also connected to the fire element, the wands in this deck. And this is actually the Two of Wands, right? So kind of the twin flame connection card in a sense. And this is a level of finding balance between separate timelines, between potential outcomes, between various opportunities, options. And the point is whether you are working together in a relationship right now or whether you are in a separation right now, you are never actually apart. Finding balance in your connection comes first and foremost from within your own self and your twin, right? The more you are in balance within self, the more you invite balance within your twin's heart, and the easier it's going to be for the both of you to find balance together and with one another, right? So this is the advice from Spirit: find balance. And I truly feel a lot of opportunity for growth and actually finding that balance. So you are very close to finding a point of true balance. Keep going on the way you have been going, right? Now we are going to do an extended, and in the extended we're going to see how these energies play out for the divine feminine and the divine masculine separately, and we're going to get some advice for them as well, for each of them, right? I hope you will join me in the extended. If not, I'm sending you my highest vibes of unconditional love and support, and we'll be seeing you soon, okay? Bye!